Will this year's election have any impact on the markets, or will it be different from the past couple of elections? Welcome to Aspire to Retire with Ralph Short, Tim Short, and Scott Earhart of Welcome Home Financial Partners. You can find them online at welcomehomefp.com. Find out more about the team and schedule a time to speak with them if you want. It's right there in the podcast description. You can just click the link, and you can always just go to the website if you want as well, welcomehomefp.com. My name is Chris Swan, and I am pleased to be joined, as I always am, with Ralph, Tim, and Scott. Gentlemen, glad to be with you. How are you today?
Doing well, Chris.
Doing good. Always a pleasure, sir.
I'm doing well. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there is an election going on this year. Maybe you've heard a little bit of rumblings about that. And
no.
Yeah, it's actually happening. They do it every 4 years, I guess. But history has shown the stock market and the elections, they don't always get along. The fear of the unknown always causes a little bit of volatility, a little bit of concern. But market strategist Ed Clissold was recently on CNBC, and he says he doesn't think we're going to see as much of it this year.
One of the two big reasons that the market reacts to the presidential election is the uncertainty over what's going to happen, particularly if the incumbent loses. You don't know what the policies of the new administration would be. And we have a recent memory from 2016 and 2020 of what the economic policies of a Trump administration could be. So perhaps, even though because the uncertainty over who's going to win is going to be there because it's probably going to be a tight election, the fact that we probably know the basic policies of Trump and Biden could remove some of that uncertainty.
So what are your thoughts on what Ed said there? Do you agree? Do you have clients that are coming in concerned about the impact that this election could have on their retirement savings?
Oh, we absolutely have clients that are concerned about the election and how that's going to affect their retirement savings. I think everybody at this table would agree that's probably our number one question we're getting right now. And I agree with Mr. Clissold that we have an idea of the monetary policies of both major party candidates right now, but I do not agree with him in the fact that that is going to limit volatility. I think pretty much if you polled everybody in America, they'd say they think this election is going to be pretty close, pretty hotly contested between President Biden and former President Trump. And just because we know what Trump's policies were and we know what Biden's policies are, we've got to remember that those things are polar opposites. I mean, they are polar opposites. I don't know which one's right. I don't know which one's wrong. And frankly, that's not my place to deem it right or wrong, but it is my place to work with clients and help them secure their financial futures. So to take look at institutions like, our major stock markets, the Fed, the IRS, if they don't know what regulations, rules, guidelines they're going to be working under, they're not going to be able to operate. They're not going to be able to function as we hope they would. So I believe that creates a lot of volatility. And as he did say, the unknown creates volatility. So that's where we're headed. I believe in my heart of hearts that we are going to see increased volatility up and through November, maybe past that. Now, one thing I'd say, if this is a topic that interests our listeners, we just so happen to be recording some Aspire to Retire TV on this very topic coming up here pretty quick. So I'd tell you to check out our YouTube channel. We'll have that video up and go more in depth into this topic in the coming weeks.
One thing I would say is there is uncertainty. We do not know what's going to happen. I don't worry about things I don't have control over. The only thing that I can control about the election is my vote. So you have to go out and vote. But which way it's going to happen, we do not know. But in my vast young experience, because I hadn't been on this earth that long, regardless of what some people around the table might think, my assumption is that no matter what happens, it's going to be for their good, not our good. Because for us, we have to know as a business person what we need to do, not today, but down the road. So we have to have different avenues. In case this happens, we need to do this. In case that happens, we have to do this. And that's what you call uncertainty, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. We have to be prepared, just like our people who come in as clients, they have to be prepared for whatever might happen. Because if the stock market goes down 25 or 30% after the election, are you prepared for that? Do you have the right investments? Do you have the right retirement plan that would withstand those type of wild swings, volatility, whatever it is that you want to call it? We do not have control of what the market does. what the economy does. We just have to have a plan in place, and that's where you come to people like us who are fiduciaries that has your best interest at heart, no matter what happens in this crazy world we live in.
Yeah, and let's face it. I mean, every year there's uncertainty. We never know what the market's going to do. But come the end of this year, no matter what, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be pissed off, period, at the end. It doesn't matter who stays, goes, comes in. I don't care, right? So you've got to act like, as you're approaching retirement, we have to make sure that no matter what the market throws at us, that our plan's going to sustain it, right? So whether that's a presidential election, whether that's interest rates rise, whatever the case may be, we have to make sure that everything is appropriate to match whatever life is going to throw at us. So it's not just the presidential election, like Ralph's saying, is we can't control that. I don't know if anybody can control that at that point, but it's very difficult, and a lot of people are worried about it. So you've got to make sure you come in, speak to somebody who's got your best interest at heart, and make sure we've got a proper plan for you.
And beyond the markets, we've sat around this table and we've talked a lot about the markets. One thing, like Tim and I, a couple weeks ago, hosted one of our first Friday events, and we did taxes in retirement. And a lot of the questions that we were getting were about, what does the presidential election mean for my taxes and things like that. We don't need to just focus on how this election might affect the market performance. We need to focus on what the tax policies are going to be and make sure that our clients are set up as well as possible to be able to lead the retirement they want to lead and only pay the taxes they have to pay, and they're positioned well to deal with that.
And I would also say this election is going to affect small business people, closely held businesses, whatever you want to call them, that lives on and works on Main Street, because we provide the most economic value to the economy than anybody else. So we're going to be affected more so with the tax ramifications of this election than anything else that I see. It's going to affect the market volatility, but when it comes to the Main Street businesses, we need to make sure we survive. Without it, the economy may not be as robust as everybody thinks it is. And we don't have any control what the Fed's going to do. We don't have any control what the election's going to do. We have to be prepared, period.
Yeah, and like Scott was talking about the first Friday events, every month we have a particular conversation about a hot topic, whether it's retirement planning, whether it's going to be taxes in retirement, Social Security, what have you. So if interested, there's some information on the website.
And that website is welcomehomefp.com. You can click a link right there in the podcast description, take you right there, as well as the YouTube channel, all the social media links that you need. Here's the thing. Over the course of a 20, 30-year retirement, however long your retirement's going to be, you're going to see multiple elections. Well, let me back up. First of all, vote. That is your right as an American citizen. You should certainly exercise that right. But you are going to see multiple elections, and sometimes your candidate's going to win, sometimes your candidate is going to lose. And if the way that the White House, the color of the White House makes you nervous, if the possibility of market volatility has you nervous, what you really need to look at is perhaps how you're allocated. If you have a plan in place to know that the market is going to go up and down, and it can affect your bottom line if you don't have a plan in place. If you are nervous about what could be coming down the line, as the guys have said here, control what you can control. Have a plan put in place to know that, yes, there is going to be market fluctuation. How do I make sure that I'm not compounding my losses and withdrawing during a down market? How do I make sure that taxes, if they go up in the future, if $34 trillion in national debt right now, probably going to go up in the future, how do I make sure that I am paying what I am required to, but not a penny more? How do I take into all these factors, these things that I can't necessarily control? Have a plan in place. The team at Welcome Home Financial Partners, they can help you. You just have to take that step, reach out to them, schedule a time to speak with them. Again, welcomehomefp.com. It's all right there in the podcast description. Made it real easy for you. Just tap the link, take you right there. They'll be happy to sit down and speak with you and hopefully lay some of these concerns to bed. We want to thank you for joining us here on Aspire to Retire. As we always do, really do appreciate you taking the time. Hope you have a great week ahead of you. Guys, thank you for the time. As we wrap up here, I want to leave you with the final word.
All right, Chris. Well, we appreciate you hosting us every week. But also, too, if anybody at home listening and they're concerned about the political games that are happening right now and they're worried about how that's going to affect their money or the market, please feel free to reach out to us. Have a great day.
Thank you for your time.
All content is for information purposes only. It is not intended to provide any tax, finance or legal advice or provide the basis for any financial decision, nor is it intended to be a projection of current or future performance or indication or future results. Opinions expressed herein are solely those of Welcome Home Financial Partners and Welcome Home Wealth Advisors, LLC. The information contained in this material has been derived from sources believed to be reliable, but is not guaranteed as to accuracy and completeness and does not purport to a complete analysis of the materials discussed. All information and ideas should be discussed in detail with your individual advisor prior to the implementation. Each individual investor's situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstance. Advisor services are offered by Welcome Home Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Virginia. Being registered as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Insurance products and services are offered through WPI Holding, Virginia Insurance License Number 138509, an affiliated company. The information contained herein should in no way be construed or interpreted as a solicitation to sell or offer to sell advisory services to any residents of any state other than the state of Virginia or where otherwise legally permitted. Welcome Home Wealth Advisors, LLC, and Welcome Home Financial Partners are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any government agency.